Well, welcome to the Christy Jones Show, where it's all about living your life to the fullest. I'm a life coach, speaker, and business owner in multifamily real estate, and I've had wild success in multifamily housing for over 25 years now. I am so passionate about helping others merge their success and lead a fulfilling life, and I bring it all together right here on this podcast. So join me and let's get started to live your life to the fullest. Hey, before we jump into today's episode on the podcast, I want to make sure that you know about my upcoming free, yeah, I said free masterclass. It is the High Achievers Breakthrough. It is a masterclass like no other that I've done before. And here's what I'm going to help you do in that masterclass. First of all, you want to get to your next level life? Well, this is how you do it. I'm going to share with you 2 key steps that I put into practice in my own life when I completely rebuilt my life professionally and personally. So, in this masterclass, I'm going to help you identify those limiting beliefs, those things, those stories, those things going on in the back, sometimes subconscious of our mind. So, we're going to start to uncover those. Most importantly, step number 2 is I'm going to get you on your way to create an action plan. It's not what we know, it's what we do with what we know. So it's all about taking action. And then lastly, in the final segment of this masterclass, I am going to help you unleash your inner power. You're going to leave this masterclass fired up, ready to go, and just ready to implement the things that you've been thinking about, ruminating on, and just not doing crap about. So you're going to leave ready to set your world on fire. So join me for this masterclass. It is coming up soon. A link will be in the show notes to the High Achievers Breakthrough. I cannot wait to see you there. Well, hey, my friend, it is podcast time. Man, I have had a day. Oh my goodness, let me tell you. So I just recorded and did back-to-back master classes today in one day. It was crazy. It was so good. But now it's wrapping towards the end of the day. And I said, hey, why not let me record a podcast while I'm at it? So I said, let's just keep the momentum going. You know, when you're in that mode and you're on a roll, sometimes you just got to go with it. So I am recording this podcast coming off of the High Achievers Breakthrough Masterclass, which I loved teaching this particular masterclass. And I want to talk and kind of piggyback on that. I'm going to talk about the next level life and something that honestly, as I was wrapping that and dropping some emails and things like that, it made me think of the next question. And really not the question, just the next thought that came to my mind concluding this masterclass. So I want to talk about next level life. I want to kind of do a little wrap up on the masterclass that I taught, and then share with you what I feel is one of the benefits when you experience success in your life, and success in many areas. I'm not just talking about financial success. I look at a lot of different areas of life and success and fulfillment. And so I'm not just talking about financial. Well, that's important and has lots of perks to that as well. But I'm going more macro here on this. So the High Achievers Breakthrough Masterclass was amazing. If you have FOMO, fear of missing out, for those that don't know what FOMO is, I don't blame you. Just going to be real. It was fire. It was good. And let me get my desk a little more situated here. I'm doing this podcast literally on the fly, like no plan, just sat down, hit record, and we're going. So I still have all the components on my desk here are not quite lined up exactly as they should be. So wrapping up the masterclass, there were 3 things that I taught in that masterclass that really is more of a workshop, is very interactive, which I love my master classes to be like that. We have a format and I have my presentation and all of that, but I really like to, for the people here, just hear this. If you ever hear of another masterclass I'm doing and you're like, I think I want to do that. You probably do because you're missing out if you don't. But there's benefit in coming to the live one. Now, there's a recording that goes to VIPs on this masterclass and all of that. But when you're live in a session like this, in a workshop, in a masterclass that I do, one of the benefits is I love to ask questions of like where the people on the call, like where you're at right now. So based on what we're talking about, I ask some concise questions of, where are you at? What's something specific that related this that you're dealing with right now? Because I want to dive into exactly that. I want it to be really useful for the people that are there. So know that, like when I say this is the time I'm doing it and you have the opportunity to be live, it's really in your advantage to be there because I'm going to ask questions and really want to make sure that if there's a way that I can take the material and really focus or hone in on a certain part of that that's going to be relative to the people that are on the call, I always take advantage of that and do that. So you get that little extra, it's like that little extra spice, So what I taught on was, we talked about really discovering what's holding you back from your next level life, and also creating, even more importantly, creating an action plan. Because I had shared today, it's great to identify like what's holding you back, where you're getting stuck. But at the end of the day, no matter what those things are, once we, pinpoint those, right? And we get a better like, oh, okay, yeah, that I'm really just hung up on this. That's great, but it truly still doesn't mean much. And it's not going to get us over the hump unless we put action in place. So the second step of that, the second series or second phase of that today was creating an action plan and starting to get some things down on paper. So, what can you do by the end of today, before the sun goes down today? What is something you can do? We talked about the next 24 hours and moving forward from there. So really starting to create some momentum and creating an action plan. As I've said this 1,000,003 times before, it's not what you know, it's what you do with what you know. And then when we know better, we do better. I mean, I could go on all day with this type of stuff. So creating an action plan, we got started on that. That was super great. So always know that, yes, it's good to identify what's holding you back. But at the end of the day, it's not going to do you any good if you know what's holding you back, but you don't do anything about it. And you don't come up with putting something into motion, right? So, you know what? Sometimes you just got to start when it's messy. I mean, you just have to like do something, make a decision. There were entrepreneurs and business owners on the masterclass, on the call with the masterclass today. And that's like, if I could hit anything home more, it's look, if there's a decision to be made, we got to turn left or we got to turn right. And when we close out another day and we haven't decided if we're going to turn left or turn right, then it's a wasted day. We need to make a decision, the best decision that you can based on the information you have. Make that decision. And if it turns out that that decision is like, man, didn't get you the result you wanted, you quickly see, I should have gone the other way. Guess what you can do? You can go the other way. You can come back, turn, go the other way. So where everyone gets hung up so much of the time is in making no decision, which is still a decision, but it's a decision that's not moving the needle forward. So we have to take ownership of that. And then the third thing that we talked about today was unleashing your inner power, really stepping forward in your full confidence. And I guided them to do that and how to do that. So it was a great day. But here's a question that, or not a question, here's a thought that I had as that had wrapped. And which isn't that true? After you do something and then you have all these things that kind of are ruminating in your head, and I'm taking notes for, the next session, because I'm having a follow-up session with my VIPs. So I'm really looking forward to that next week. But here's something I wanted to talk about today on the podcast is about when you're working towards your next level in your life, in any area of your life, when you're working towards your next level in your life, any area of your life, that it's so, so important to appreciate and enjoy the journey to that next level that you're aspiring for, that you're making progress for. This can apply to literally any area of your life, whatever it is that you are wanting to elevate. You have to appreciate the journey there, because here's the thing. When you are working towards that and you achieve that, and let's say, you're wanting to hit, I had business owners in the session today. So you're wanting to hit certain benchmarks with your business, in your business. You're wanting to hit certain benchmarks there. And then you're just going hard, doing everything, and you hit it, and you're at the pinnacle. You're like at the height of it, right? And then you get there, and then you realize that's great, but there's always something that we can continue to learn and grow and expand. So it never really stops. So you have to be sure and be careful that you're not like in that chase mode. And then you get there, you get the shiny thing, that the goal is met. You lose the weight. You've heard about this, like people work really hard, they lose all the weight, they get to their like dream weight of what they thought they would always want, that would always make them happy. And then they get there, and then guess what? They're not as happy as I thought they were going to be. So you have to be really cognizant of that. You must appreciate the journey in every area of your life when you are moving towards that next level. And here's another thing that I wanted to share that kind of came to me after I taught the masterclass, is that, reaching our goals, having success in your life, it feels good. It is very satisfying. It is, it's like, it brings joy. It brings positive feelings, right? What it really does, and I felt and again, this was wrapping this conversation today, this masterclass, what it does is that it allows you to ask better questions to yourself about yourself and about your life. So let me say that again. When you get to experience success in any area of your life, we were talking about business today because I had a lot of that's the people that were there. That's some of the things they wanted to talk about. So that's what we talked about. So when you experience success, it allows you, it's like an invitation to you to then ask yourself better questions. You get to ask yourself better questions. You get to ask myself, what else could I be doing to bring more like integration meaning, you can say work-life balance, but I would like to say integration of your work and your life, especially if you enjoy, you're at a place where you are able to do work that you enjoy, that you can pull some fulfillment from. So when we hit our next level, it allows us to ask ourselves better questions. And we ask ourselves more challenging questions. Because if I set out to do this and I did it, now I can ask myself better questions, more valuable questions that are really going to enrich my life. I can ask myself questions as you experience success in whatever it is you've set out to do. You can ask yourself more questions, harder questions that are going to basically give back to you more success and more fulfillment. I'm huge on the whole fulfillment part of that. Yeah, you don't want to get, where you wake up in your life and you are absolutely, completely unfulfilled on every level. That's not the end goal. It's about doing things now along your journey, the journey that you're appreciating, to what it is you're trying to create and build in your life. You're appreciating that journey. But once you go, oh, I did it. This happened. This came together. This experience that I wanted to have is now here. That allows you to ask yourself better and more challenging questions. So the next level is available to you at every step and phase of your life. There doesn't have to be an end point. There is no oh, I've done this and achieved this, so, done, check the box. I don't have to do anything else. I mean, you can do that if you like, obviously, but there is no end game. It's a continual process, a cycle where you have success. Now you can ask yourself better questions, more informed questions now that come from a different perspective. Those are huge. We can't have different perspectives and have a fresh perspective if we don't continue to allow ourselves to advance. Does that make sense? So that was on my mind as I wrapped today. We talked so much about the next level life, and I taught the 3 areas in that masterclass today: identifying the limiting beliefs and what's holding you back, how to create an action plan and get things going, and then how to unleash your inner power. And at the wrap of that is we talked more about, your next level life. This is all about you creating the life that you desire to have, the experiences that you want to have, the feelings that you want to have during your lifetime, and the opportunities you want to create for others. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on and on. So just realize that when you do hit your next level, and you will, is that it allows you the opportunity to ask yourself better questions. You get to ask life better questions. So keep that in mind as you are moving through and working on your next level. Keep that in mind. Appreciate the journey. Appreciate the way, the path. Appreciate the path that you're taking. Don't put all the value on the end result. See, when you're working towards something, and I'm going to use business because, again, we talked a lot about that today. When you're working towards that, I've been in business for 22 years, business owner, 22 going on 23 years. You have to have a resiliency about you. And I think this applies to you regardless if you're a business owner or this applies to everything in life. It really does. But if you're going to be able to make it through the highs, the lows, the boring times, the mundane times, those seasons that just don't seem to change. And then the floodgates open, progress happens, what you've been working for, it finally starts clicking. But then you hit that level. But there's going to be times that you're almost there. And then, it's like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. If you are uber focused on just the end game, when you have to have those little setbacks along the way, those detours that happen, when those happen, those hit harder to the person that is only placing value in the end result. Those hit harder. Those hurt more, those sting more. That can kind of put them in paralysis. Instead, when you're the person that appreciates the process, you have to enjoy the process. When you appreciate, respect, and enjoy the process of getting there, then when you have the side steps, the unexpected mishaps, the things that fall short, you haven't put all your weight on that golden egg at the end to where these little side steps, yeah, I mean, you'll be frustrated. Yeah, you wish that, that delay didn't happen, but it's not going to derail you. You're still understanding the process and appreciating the process to get to that next level. All right, well, I'm going to leave it on that note. And I have literally had such a great day. I know that the people that were in the masterclass had such great transformations and there was great conversation. So you probably want to be in the next masterclass when I say I'm having one. If you want to leave with feeling like your life is fired up, ready to go, and you can conquer the world, then you need to come hang out with me more. All right. Have the best rest of the day, rest of the week, and I will see you soon. Apple, Spotify, my YouTube channel. You guys leave a rating and review because it helps me on all 3 of those platforms continue to grow the podcast. All right. And also my facelift. Oh my gosh. My website got a facelift. I don't have one yet. Someday, maybe, but my website got a facelift. So go check out my website, KristiJones.org. That's KRISTI Jones.org, because I've got it updated with all my latest services, my coaching, my speaking. So go check it out. And otherwise, I'm going to see you next week, same place, same time, right here on the podcast. Talk to you later. I want to thank you for tuning in today to the podcast, and I hope you've enjoyed the conversation and all the info that's been shared today. And I hope you've come away with a few ideas on how to make the most out of it for your life. If you loved this episode, be sure to share it with your friends and family. And also make sure you subscribe to the podcast and tap that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Also, it would mean the absolute world to me if you would leave a podcast review. So until next time, my friend, keep flourishing and thriving and live your life to the